Holy sh**. I'm sorry, I'm still recovering from shock here. Rifftrax, the Rifftrax commented on my Manos review. My fanboy was freaking out last night, I assure you. And really, what better way to commemorate being recognized by the masters of the craft themselves than by doing a review of the new live event that I just saw last night, Rifftrax Live presents Plan 9 from Outer Space. Well, okay, this performance was from 2009, but what do you want from me? I just saw it last night, and besides, year is really just a number, right? So if you've never heard from Plan 9 from Outer Space, and honestly, unless you've taken a couple film classes or you just have a penchant for bad films, you're probably not going to know this if you're a kid of nowadays. But Plan 9 from Outer Space is essentially Ed Wood's cinematic opus. Like, this is his Citizen Kane. This is the film that everybody pretty much remembers him for, if they choose to remember him at all. Ed Wood, of course, being hailed as the worst director of all time, which, you know, looking back on it, I think that's kind of an unfair title considering nowadays, considering Uwe Ball exists. But as it stands, Ed Wood is recognized as being like the worst director of all time. Plan 9 from Outer Space it's how do I just explain it really? It's an alien/zombie film. Aliens are coming to Earth to warn humanity that if they continue the path they're on now, they're going to end up destroying the entire universe, and we choose to ignore them. Our government chooses to, you know, ignore it and put on the facade that they don't exist. And so, as a result, they are determined to destroy us, and they raise the dead in order to try and wipe us out, but they only really raised 3 zombies. They got Bela Lugosi, Vampria, and Tor Johnson. Those are the 3 zombies. That's it. You can't really call this a zombie movie because there's only 3 freaking zombies. It's definitely more of an alien movie because you pay more attention to the aliens than you do to the zombies. And the zombies do nothing. The zombies do absolutely nothing in this film. They don't even really kill anybody. The one person they do kill is Tor Johnson, who becomes a zombie. That's the only death in the entire film. I mean, technical-wise, I mean, the camera's fine. Like, it's not like Manos where the camera was just absolutely abysmal. But the camera was decent. The special effects sucked. I mean, the UFOs, you could see the string that was flying the UFOs around. I guess he really just didn't have a budget for these films. There's one point when they're on the plane, you can actually see the shadow for the grip for the microphone, which was kind of lazy. Editing-wise, it's not as bad as Manos, because it's in more experienced hands, but it's still not brilliant. The acting is very wooden. Even from the zombies, there's not much. I mean, Tor Johnson pretty much, once he becomes a zombie, pretty much has the same facial expression for the rest of the movie. Vampira doesn't do much other than this. And Bela Lugosi, oh my god. This was actually, quote-unquote, Bela Lugosi's last film. He died really before the production began, and Ed Wood used footage from a scrapped film that he did with Bela Lugosi and put it in this film. And he got his wife's chiropractor to fill in for other parts of Bela Lugosi, even though the guy looks nothing like him. He's taller and he has a different facial. But basically, Bela Lugosi is meant to be the third vampire. Ed Wood did this not to, like, just for whatever. It was more like a tribute to Lugosi because Lugosi was his friend in his later years. And it really sucks that this was his last film because Bela Lugosi, I mean, what do I need to say? Bela Lugosi's Dracula. You know, he's the, well, not the original Dracula, but he's the iconic Dracula. He's the, you know, the children of the night. You know, he's the one everyone remembers. He started that whole vampire trend. And this was the last thing he ever appeared in. I mean, it sucks because, you know, Bela Lugosi, because he was, you know, Dracula was his thing. Like, he was so typecasted for everything else in his career. His career was really just put in that one role. He didn't really do anything else. Whereas Boris Karloff, you know, was able to, you know, differentiate and have more of a career. Bela was pretty much, you know, typecasted to the one role. And, you know, Bela Lugosi was really hard into drugs in his later years, and it was just a sad way for him to go out, really. But it's the writing that really kills this film. The writing is, there's so much explanation and so much exposition, and none of it really matters. Like, at no point do I listen to all this and say, yeah, that was important. None of it feels really vital to the story. And the whole reason for the aliens attacking, I mean, it's like they're attacking because someday we're going to discover how to use the sun's beams to make an atom bomb and destroy the entire universe, and so they're coming to stop us, and we won't listen to them, so they decide to just kill us by sicking the undead on us. And the humans insist, oh, there's no way this is physically possible, there's no way we can do it, but the aliens insist, no, you're going to do this and we're going to have to destroy you. And I don't know, I just think it's wrong for the aliens to condemn humanity for things we might do, you know? Like, that's assuming. And you know what happens to people who assume. So that's the film. It's a bomb, pretty much. The aliens end up being, despite being technologically advanced, they end up being the only real deaths. Their spaceship blows up with them in it. That's it. Vampira is still walking around at the end of the film. We never actually see if she dies or not. Maybe she's still out there. I don't know. But yeah, it's basically the film. Critically, honestly, the film actually, I believe, has a 66% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's actually reviewed pretty well, which is kind of weird considering it's a major disaster. And you really gotta feel bad for Ed Wood, because I honestly think, I mean, I haven't seen the Tim Burton film about Ed Wood, but I honestly think he really wanted to make good films. He really had a very artistic image and wanted to make these masterpieces. And I think subconsciously he knew what he was putting out was absolute drivel, but he still tried anyway. And it's sad, because towards the end of his career, he was basically subjected to just making pornos, and it sucked, really. But as for the Rifftrax Live, I honestly didn't know that this was a 2009 performance. I thought this was a recent one, even though in the back of my mind, I had a feeling like, no, they've done this live before. It was a lot, like, it seemed grander than Manos, which is why I'm like, oh, hey, did they get a bigger budget for this one? And then I realized this was 3 years earlier, so like, wait, that means their budget actually decreased since then. What the hell? But yeah, they had like an announcer that came out, and you know, they had sponsors, which I don't remember from the Manos one, and then they had Jonathan Colton come out and do music, which they definitely didn't have a musician for Manos, although they had Torgo and the Master show up. That was pretty fun. And Jonathan Colton, Lynn loved it. This was Lynn's first Rifftrax live show. This is my second. And Lynn loved Jonathan Colton. She likes him. She thinks he's awesome. And she's actually singing along to his songs. And I noticed that the audience that they played at, the Nashville audience, was also singing along too. So maybe he's bigger than I know. I don't know. I don't really know him that well. But yeah, Lynn loved it. Lynn really sang along. And the zombie song, when he's singing it, the highlight of that was when Kevin, during the chorus parts, was like doing these like zombie motions and pretending to eat them, and it was pretty funny. Joke-wise, I don't think Plan 9 was as funny as Manos. I don't know. I think Manos just had a lot of funnier jokes and a funnier beginning sketch. Like, this one was Air Stewardess, whereas the other one had, like, you know, Norman and all that. But there were definitely funny jokes. I mean, I was laughing a lot. And it didn't hit my funny bone like Manos did. And maybe part of the reason for this was the room I was in. Like, the Manos room, the theater was packed. It was like front to back, like filled with seats. And this time around, I want to say only about maybe half the theater was filled, which kind of bummed me out. But I mean, you know, the people that were there definitely laughed along. So I mean, it's not like they were just like a boring audience. I mean, everyone definitely laughed along with it. Lynn laughed the hardest. I think she absolutely loved it. Like, she thought it was amazing, and which was great for me, because she was like, oh, I'm probably not going to like this as much as you will. But I think she liked it more. I mean, I loved it, but she like absolutely loved it. And afterwards, I actually met up with a couple guys that I didn't know who they were, but they were talking about Manos, and I was, you know, talking with them about it. We kind of just shot the breeze a little bit. It was pretty fun. Definitely the funny parts of the Plan 9 tracks was the running jokes. Definitely the running jokes were hilarious. The bit where every time the cop like points his gun, like they made like a gunshot noise, because he's flinging his gun around like it's not a fully loaded revolver, you know? Like, what cop would do that? And then there's also the alien thing where like they do this, kind of like the X-Nuts from Paper Mario 2, where they like, and there's like cover your nipples, you know, it was pretty funny. And every single joke they made about Tor Johnson was hilarious. Oh, but the funniest moment that Lynn absolutely loved was right at the beginning when Bela Lugosi was crying over his wife's grave, and it was just like, and they made the jokes like, and you can see Bela Lugosi's heroin kick in right about now. And Lynn lost it. I think the whole theater lost it then. It was pretty good. Oh my god. So yeah, that's basically it. Overall, I think the movie Plan 9 is definitely better than Manos. I don't think it was like a terrible movie. It's better than Manos, and it's definitely better than Alone in the Dark 2, which I have on its pedestal as the worst film I've ever seen in my entire life. It's a bad movie, but it's an entertainable bad, you know? Like, you don't necessarily need the Rifftrax with it to enjoy it. Unlike Manos, where you absolutely had to have it in order to even stay awake through it. Plan 9's a film you can enjoy on its own. So, on that merit, I like it. And the Rifftrax, definitely funny. I didn't think it was as good as Manos, but it might just be that 3-year difference. Maybe. I don't know. Could have been the energy in the theater. But I definitely loved it. Mike, Bill, and Kevin are definitely still the masters. They've improved in 3 years, definitely. I can definitely say that. Or at least are funnier. I don't know how to say this. I'm trying to say this honestly again without offending. Because they know my videos are out there now. But, I mean, it was still A-work. There's still A-work. It just didn't hit my funny bone the right way, but it was still A-work. Lynn loved it, so there you go. And I'll definitely give that an A. And I'd give the movie a D. Plan 9, I'd give a D. And that's about it. And I gotta be honest, I know I've kind of been slacking on reviews. I've only done like 1 in November and December and 2 last month. I'm actually kind of in the mood to do more reviews, so I think this month is probably going to be a lot of them, to be perfectly honest. Like, I'm definitely going to try to finish up View Askew-a-thon this month. And Django and Les Mis are up next. I'm going to like try to put them in a double review. And yeah, that's about it. So I'm going to go, and yeah, hope you enjoyed it. I'm kind of hoping Rifftrax sees this one too. I still can't get over it. I was freaking out last night. You have no idea. Like, it was amazing for me. But yeah, so that's my opinion. And let me know what you think. And peace out.
If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, a favorite, subscribe to the channel, post it on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Google+, Reddit, something awful, spray paint on buildings, make a flag of it, get it tattooed in your forearm, get it branded into your forehead. This is Six Look Productions saying keep the spirit of the movies alive.